Welcome to Aasai Rasai. I hope it's been a great 2020 for you so far. This is my first video for the year and I thought I'll upload it because Kiribath is something that you'll be making throughout the year for whatever occasion, and it's there when you need it. This video will focus on making Kiribath in the rice cooker. So to make Kiribath we need raw rice, not parboiled rice. It wouldn't work with the parboiled rice. So we gotta wash the rice in about 7 changes of water until the water runs clear. So I'm going to use the rice cooker pan to wash the rice, and I've measured the rice into this bowl because I have to put up the measurements. I usually don't measure, I just kind of make whatever amount that I want, but because this is a recipe I have to make sure that I have the quantities listed for you. So when you're washing the rice, just agitate it with your hand while washing like this, and by the 7th change of water it'll be fairly clear, and then you can stop washing. Now, if you're going to be washing red rice or any unpolished rice, you got to be careful about agitating a little too much or over washing it, because that'll wash away the nutrients. So you could also use red raw rice for this recipe. Now, if it's your first time making Kiribath, this video has been made especially with you in mind. I have tried to eliminate all those questions that you may have, but if you have any questions after watching this video, feel free to message me or comment below the video and I will answer any questions that you have. When you're draining out the water, just be very careful that the rice doesn't get thrown out as well. If you feel more confident using a fine mesh strainer, you could do that too. Just put the rice in the strainer, hold it under running water, and keep agitating the rice while it's in the strainer so that the water can just wash it off, and you will see that the water starts running clear. Then you can stop washing. Now I'm ready to cook the rice, and I'm going to overboil the rice, so I'll need extra water, and the water level will reach the middle phalanx right at the center from the surface of the rice, and that's just an old-fashioned way of measuring, and it works for any quantity of rice. If you don't have a measuring cup around, that's the best way to do it. So I've added 2 cups of water, but of course this is not enough, and if I just stick my finger in there, see, it just doesn't even come up to the crease. So I'm going to add another 8 ounces of water mixed with 2 ounces of coconut milk. And I made a mess, so I didn't realize that the liquid is underneath. I thought, sometimes when you buy these coconut milk cans, it says coconut milk, but it's actually coconut cream. So this is the first time that I'm trying this brand, and it's full of surprises. So about 1.5 ounces of this milk will probably be enough, because I see that there's a lot of solidified cream in there that I can just dilute with water. So you just about 1.5 to 2 ounces of this coconut milk or coconut cream mixed in the 8 ounces of water will work just as well. If you don't want to cook the rice in any milk, just cook it in water and add the milk later on when the rice has finished cooking. But I feel that the Kiribath tastes much better when it's cooked in a little bit of milk like this. So dilute the milk and thin it down really well, as much as possible, but still, have some flavor in it. And if it has any fat, or if the milk is too thick while it's cooking, it's going to clot. So we're going to avoid that by thinning it down really well. And when making Kiribath with basmati rice, the grains should not be light and fluffy like you would have it for a biryani. So it just needs to be overcooked and lumpy, and that's how Kiribath is. And the salt that you add should be added into the liquid when there's liquid in the rice, and not directly into the Kiribath when the Kiribath has finished cooking, because you're going to have just lumps of salt in the Kiribath that doesn't dissolve or doesn't get mixed in. Cook the rice like you would normally do in your rice cooker, but about 5 minutes before it switches off, open the cooker and check if the rice has completely cooked through, because it should have by then, since we added a lot of water. And this is what I was talking about. The rice cooker has not switched off yet. The rice has overcooked and there's still more moisture in the rice. So this is exactly where we want to be at this point. And now we're going to add the thick coconut milk. Generally, Kiribath is a little bit salty, not overpoweringly, but comfortably salty for your taste. So I have added about 1 teaspoon in total of kosher salt crystals. And that really works for me because I'm on a low sodium diet, but I know for some people even that can be a little too much, but for others it may not be enough. So just keep checking and tasting as you keep adding milk, and always for every little bit of milk that you add, you put in a little salt, stir it well, pour it into the rice, and then mix it really well and scoop from beneath, like the bottom of the pan, and bring it up. That way you know that everything's getting mixed up really well and the kiribath is not sticking to the bottom of your rice cooker pan. Right now the consistency is loose like a porridge, so this has to cook some more. And remember, the rice cooker hasn't really switched off yet, so cover it and continue to cook. And you could leave it even for about 10 minutes longer if you don't want to check back. And mine just switched to warm now. This is like about 5 minutes later. Let's check the progress and see if it has reached that right consistency. And for that we gotta mix it again. It should be stiff, not porridge like anymore, but sometimes it takes a little extra time. And when you're mixing, the top layer of the kiribath will be less stiff and the bottom will be stiffer. So you want to scoop out again from the bottom and kind of turn it over like that and mix it really well. That's when you can really tell if it needs to stay in the cooker longer or not. And I just unplugged the cooker, left it for about 10 minutes, and this is what it looks like. And finally the kiribath is ready. It was just sitting in its own heat. The cooker was unplugged. And again, pay attention to scraping the bottom of the pan as you mix, because kiribath tends to stick very easily to the bottom of the pan because of all that milk and stuff. So smoothen the kiribath like this, and if you can get a smooth top, that means it's ready. Another way of checking is that if you stick the spoon into the kiribath, it will stay put. So like this, use a piece of aluminium once you have put the kiribath onto a platter, and you could just shape it in any way you want and then cut into pieces. Traditionally it's the diamond shaped piece that is cut, but for convenience I'm just going to do squares, and this is what it looks like. You can serve this with a non-veg curry or a sambal. I have a separate playlist on this channel for kiribath sides. You could check that out. And when you're serving the kiribath, just if it's going to be sitting on the table, cover it, because it tends to have a crusty layer on the top as it cools and after a while, so then it just becomes a little bit unappetizing. I have made a quick sini sambal with Maldive fish to serve this kiribath with, and this is one of the most favorite ways that we like to eat kiribath. It's lunumiris or this. A sini sambal would always be a nice addition. If you're new to Sri Lankan cuisine, for your information, kiribath is served during traditional occasions at any time of the day. It could be served warm or it could be served cold. And besides that, it is enjoyed at breakfast any day of the year. And this is a piece of cinnamon that shouldn't have gone in there. So yeah, we can discard that. And so anyway, I hope you like this video. If you know anyone that needs help learning to make kiribath, please share this video with them, like it, and subscribe to my channel Aasai Rasai. Thanks for watching.